All right, we're live.
Well, welcome along to this watch along / bet along with the Bet and Bankers. Last day of the Premier League season. Looks to be an exciting afternoon of entertainment. So both ends of the table has action, which still will determine a few of the outcomes. So obviously Manchester United, Chelsea, and Leicester in contention for Champions League. And then there's action at the bottom of the table where Bournemouth, Watford, and Aston Villa are fighting for survival. So the next couple of hours look to be very entertaining. For those people who are joining and who've listened in last night and have been following our Twitter stream, we've been doing or advertising a bet £5 or €5 to win 10k. And essentially what we've done over the last couple of days is look through all of the games, look to combine together what we think is the most probable outcome and put them in a ACCA. So I'll read out the ACCA here so everybody has it. So Joe, you can follow along with us. I've placed this with Paddy Power, but the odds probably will be the same across all bookmakers. So first leg is Arsenal to win at home to Watford. I think that's... So obviously Watford have probably more to play for than Arsenal, but Arsenal at home, they're man for man, they're a way better team. They haven't been in bad form of late, so I expect Arsenal to get the job done and relegate Watford. Burnley, Brighton, this is a bit of a toss-up. It could be Sean Dyche's last game, and that's what's coming into the reckoning there. So we have Burnley. Chelsea versus Wolves is... looks a brilliant game on paper. I'm siding with Chelsea there. Crystal Palace versus Tottenham. Tottenham are short enough price of 4-9, but I think they'll get the job done there. Palace are fairly toothless in attack, so with no pressure on them, Tottenham should be able to get the victory.
Palace are probably one of the teams that have regretted the return of football the most. It's been miserable for them.
Yeah, exactly. Everton versus Bournemouth. Again, we've gone with the home team there. I think Bournemouth's away record in the Premier League over the last 3-4 seasons or however long they've been there is atrocious. While Everton haven't been in great form and don't have much to play for, again, they are a much better side. We're taking Manchester United to beat Leicester. I know within the Bet and Bankers Cap we've had quite a lot of discussion. I think Man United are the banker of the day. I know, Liam, you can give your thoughts on it in a couple of minutes when I read the rest of it out, but Liam has opposite thoughts, so one of us is going to be right at the end of the day, I suppose.
Probably going to be a draw, so...
Yeah, David Silva to have 2 or more shots on target in the Man City Norwich game. Divock Origi to have 2 or more shots on target in Newcastle versus Liverpool, and then Southampton to beat Sheffield United. Southampton and Sheffield United have been on good runs, but Southampton being the home side, again should get the job done. Danny Ings is going for Premier League top goal scorer, so it wouldn't be a surprise to see him on top on the score sheet. So a £5 or euro stake returns £11,277.93. So that seems like a likely bet. I said it's a long shot, mightn't come up, but it's something for us to cheer on. So let's quickly recap. That's Arsenal, Burnley, Chelsea, Tottenham, Everton, Manchester United, Southampton, West Ham, and then Divock Origi and David Silva both to have 2 or more shots on target. So Liam, sorry, I've probably hogged the first.
You said it. Much of a much is between the bookies, but with Betfair that's 9,900. So it's 10% out there. Better odds with Paddy Power on that bet, which is just an interesting one.
Yeah, I know. Like I did put that on only about kind of half an hour ago once I seen the teams. So there was probably, I know you put your bet on probably last night, so there's probably a bit of fluctuation in some of the markets. But yeah, I said if we get any way along the way to winning the 10 grand, we'll be fairly happy.
Very happy, yeah. You mentioned a few of those are kind of toss-ups, like Burnley, Brighton, Everton, Bournemouth, Southampton, Sheffield, even West Ham, Villa. There's no result in any of those games would surprise you, home win or away win or draw. they're all kind of closely lined up. But I think last day of the season is a very tough one to predict. Some teams are playing for just pride. I mean, I think we touched on it last night on the live stream that if there was fans there, you'd be much more inclined. Like say Burnley, I think they're 2.74 on the exchange, and I think they're a good bet today. I have them back myself. But if they were with their crowd in front of them, I think they'd be bankers for a win today. Everton, the same sort of thing. They've kind of, I think the high from Ancelotti arriving has kind of faded out now a bit at Everton, and I think there's been talk some of those players are playing for their future, and Everton seem to have that end of season talk every year where kind of a couple of the big names might get moved on if they don't perform well. So again, if there was a crowd there, you'd be kind of heavily inclined to go with Everton, but with no fans, it's much more of a toss up. Leicester, see, they're actually drifting here a bit on the exchange. I just think that they're a very good price. I mean, United have had some good results against potentially mediocre opponents, but they definitely are one of the more informed teams in England. I just think that their away record hasn't been as strong as their home record, and slightly outside evens. It's not a bad price, but I think 3-1 for Leicester is very attractive, especially for them. They have some recent history of winning things to get back into the Champions League. If they lose, I know the draw would be enough for United, but I think Leicester. I have to check it out again. So if Leicester draw and Chelsea lose, Leicester still qualify. That's right, isn't it? They can get through that way, but they obviously they want to kind of take it into their own hands. So I think it'd be a big performance from Leicester today. Which game are you going to watch now as they're all kicking off?
So I have Man United Leicester on my iPad here with Sky Go. So I'm probably going to be maybe a minute behind the actual live action. And then I have West Ham versus Aston Villa, and West Ham in their new 125th anniversary kits at home to Villa. So it's just kicked off. So there are two games I'll be focusing on. So hopefully there's action in both of those games. I might flick between them because I know Arsenal Watford is on Sky as well. So I might flick around if one of the games get boring, or if let's say United go 3-0 up, there's no point in watching that game anymore. So I'll switch around.
Yeah.
I think most of the games have just kicked off now. So geez, an early goal. Newcastle have gone 1-0 up against Liverpool in the first minute. Oh,
very good. I actually I'd mentioned to you earlier offline the incredible long odds. I think it's about 400,000 to 1 combination that I did. I have Newcastle in that. I think we kind of brushed over because you went with a shots on target bet for the Liverpool game. I just think Liverpool haven't been great. For Arsenal Watford gone suspended here as well.
Yeah, I see that. I don't know whether it's just because it's kicking off or what.
No, it had kicked off on the exchange and then went suspended.
Okay, I think I'm not
sure what that
over
was.
here and see what's happening. Oh, it's a VAR for a Arsenal penalty. So it looks like Dawson, the ex-West Brom player, has shouldered Lacazette in the back. So Lacazette was going to control the ball from across. He's come in, ploughed to the back. To me, it's a definite penalty. I think if he doesn't hit Lacazette probably controls the ball, and he's like at the penalty spot.
He was a Betfair odds on that special to have him carded.
Yeah, so Mike Dean is the referee, so I'd say if it's a penalty, he'll definitely get carded. The Watford players and the manager are looking fairly worried here, but there's been no decision made yet. There's actually a dive in the Leicester game here now. Martial was going through on goal and blatant dive on the ground. So
I've just seen the tackle. It's a definite penalty. I mean,
it's always hard to, I've only seen the really super slow mo's, so in that slow motion, it's very hard to know.
But it's hard. Your shoulder was into someone's back. Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
I think if that was out the pitch, there'd be no hesitation whatsoever from the referee.
Yeah. There's still no signal from VAR is what they're going to do. Oh, they're looking at offside and the build up to the penalty now. He looks to be onside again. They're down at their feet. So the question is, I think it's Aubameyang out on the left wing. He stand offside, but he looks to be onside by length of a big toe. Mike Dean is just given the penalty. So
it's just gone
the
unsuspended.
facial expressions on Mike Dean.
Yeah, he's a highlight reel dream, really, isn't he?
Yeah.
You can still back Arsenal at 2.04 on the exchange. What's odd?
Yeah, it seems odd. Maybe it hasn't updated, but
just gone in now at 1.4.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a definite penalty. If he doesn't take Lacazette out, I said, whether Lacazette controls or not, he definitely gets a touch on the ball, you know. So to be taken out from behind there. So I suppose it's good news for Aston Villa. I think a draw now does Aston Villa, does it?
Yeah.
Or even a loss will do Aston Villa a lot.
Yeah, they need to have a worse result than Watford. So if they both lose, but Aston Villa lose by more, their goal difference is only one better.
Aubameyang has just dispatched it there anyway. So,
Cool.
1-0 up, 4 minutes. I was going to check and see who scored for Newcastle.
So that's what I was actually in the middle of saying before the VAR check. Liverpool have not been great. They've not really been great since about Christmas time, but certainly since the lockdown, they haven't been, back to their old selves. And then since they won the league, their form has gone down quite poorly. I think we looked at it last night. They've lost or drawn 8 of their last 9 away games. And, Newcastle are, there's a lot of drama up there at the moment with the takeover and stuff like that. And I just think that the 13-2 that Newcastle were last night was just a comical price. Liverpool have nothing to play for. You know what I mean? There's no way those guys have been taking care of themselves in the same way they would have been before they lifted the trophy. So,
yeah, exactly. And I think for Liverpool fans, well, they were looking to get over 100 points, and I know the players wouldn't be thinking about this, and definitely Jurgen Klopp wouldn't be. But the 96 points with the justice for 96, I know that's been a big thing. They were lifting the trophy during the week on social media, etc. That was a big thing. So, like I said, it probably shouldn't be coming into the players' reckoning, but
I'm sure they're not.
Probably an omen to be back in Newcastle,
Yeah, I just think that we've looked at a lot of Man United against West Ham last week, and West Ham were 11-1, and the match finished a draw. Okay, but these enormous odds-on favourites just don't seem to really make sense in a lot of these football games. So
yeah, that's when I looked at the market, that's why I picked out. So initially I was going to go Mane. I think you've gone with Mane. That was my initial thoughts last night. But with him not being in the starting 11, I went for Origi to have 2 shots on target instead. But it was better to look into those markets than to play in the win-draw-win market. It's the same with Man City match. They don't need to win. Norwich beat them at home this season. So, there's no point in taking a chance where they 1-25 Man City.
Yeah.
The 45-1 on Norwich is obviously massive, needing the 15-1 about the draw. The game is just, or the whole market is just totally skewed. You can make an argument for most of it, but I think it's when you see a market like that, it's best just to stay away and look for something else. So the David Silva, both David Silva the score and David Silva shots on target were ones that stuck out. It been his last game. His 10 years he's been in the Premier League, and obviously brought a lot of joy to City fans over that 10 years. So they'll be wanting to send him off in style. And any penalties or free kicks or anything like that, he's sure to be on them. So
that was the one, the penalties. I mean, he was 6-4 yesterday to score any time, and he was evens this morning. So I think a lot, he's a lot of money to move with 6-4 into evens. And I think that maybe the final game hadn't been taken into consideration initially. Well, Norwich have scored.
Half a shot in the United game for a penalty.
Don't know if you heard that. Norwich have scored. They're 1-0 up.
No.
Yeah. And they're still
just as we were saying, not to back City of 45 or 1-25. 45-1.
They've just gone out to 50-1 again. They've come into 15-1. So I wonder, is that?
It might be VAR.
Yeah. I do think if you put, you were to put a pound on all those teams, those long outsiders are probably going to be more profitable than the big inside ones, like Man City at 1-25. Yeah, those prices.
Yeah, I think especially Liverpool, Man City over the last 2 years, they've been hard to oppose and they've been very short prices. But other teams, other big teams like your Tottenhams, your Chelseas, Man United, etc. The week after European games, I think it's definitely worth opposing the win market there. Whether you lay the team or you kind of just back the draw or the jump the other team. To me, that's it's priced up always based on the match, not the lead up to the match. And though some of the Europa League ties, you've got Man United going to Kazakhstan on a Thursday night and then back and playing midday on a Sunday. It does take its toll on the players, and I've been meaning, maybe when things die down over the next couple of weeks, I've been meaning to do up some analysis of that over the last couple of seasons to see, does that play out? In my head, from memory, it does, but you obviously need to see the facts and figures down on paper. So
you get kind of memory bias there.
Back on.
Can happen. Man, that Norwich goal has been disallowed.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The odds are all over the place. There must be some action on the exchange. They've gone into 7-1.
Live score are still giving it. So.
Yeah, the odds would imply that it's still there as well.
Yeah. Although the Betfair Sportsbook have taken it away. So, yeah, strange. Fortunately, I can't get it up. That game up on screen, so.
Yeah. I think maybe an Arsenal goal is probably the worst thing for that Watford game. Just, Arsenal might sit back. I don't know, will Watford have the fire in them to kind of chase that lead?
Yeah, I mean, they need to, I know what you're saying. Back Arsenal will probably dominate the rest of it and probably dominate possession. But Watford did show a bit of heart against West Ham. A shocking first half performance and then came back a bit in the second half. So they might be able to pull something out of the bag. Leicester are starting to dominate here in the United match. They had been under the cosh for the first 5 minutes, but they've started to get on top. Harry Maguire just made a foul a couple of minutes ago on the halfway line. Really kind of a needless foul, but he was booked for it. So he needs to be careful now for the rest of the day. Just like I said, Wes Morgan has ploughed through Martial on the halfway line. He's got away without a booking, but actually I have him back to be booked at 7-2. Oh, Mikel Antonio has missed a sitter in the West Ham game. Are you watching that?
No, just the noise of it.
So basically it was like a long ball over the top.
Chelsea Wolves has gone suspended here. You might be on mute, Gary. Gary, I'm not sure if you can hear me, but I'm pretty sure you're on mute. Gary. Well, we've lost Gary there.
Sorry, I might have gone quiet there for a second. My PC goes on auto mute sometimes.
Okay.
There's a VAR decision in the Everton-Bournemouth game. It looks like Bournemouth are getting a penalty from what I can see. On Betfair.
In one of my bets, I put the unders in that game. I just think that it was 11-8 or 13-10 to be unders. Spurs have just scored actually, and
I think Man City have just scored as well.
So
a few goals going in around the place.
But final days are always like that, really, aren't they?
Yeah. I actually did a goals bet. I didn't call it out at the start. I can read it out in a few minutes, but kind of mixed together both teams to score. There was an over 1.5 and a few over 2.5s in there. I think paid something like 25-1, and I've only got a 5 on it. But those goals bets on the last, because there's quite a few games where teams haven't got anything to play for, and it's really just a coin flip there. So someone's going for the goals there. Bournemouth have scored that penalty anyway, so they're 1-0 up.
Yeah, 2 early penalties there. Today, I mean, generally.
Josh King took the penalty he scored. Harry Kane was the goal scorer for Tottenham.
Yeah, we were looking at our 5 scorers there. It'll be Aubameyang and Kane is a nice start for a lot of people.
Yeah, Jesus as well.
Oh yeah, Jesus. Yeah, I think the Liverpool team selection was a bit of a surprise for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Wonder what the thinking there was. Maybe just a game that didn't really matter.
Yeah, maybe rest them for. Oh no, sure they're out of the Champions League.
Yeah, it's their last game.
Yeah. It is strange. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So let me have a look at my.
I'm a bit disappointed with the Jesus goal because I had him in my seven scores and I took him out and put in Sterling at the last minute, and I'd have had 3 of my 4 up already because I have Aubameyang and Kane as well. It's a bit unfortunate.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Norwich had gone. They started the match at sort of 45-1. They drifted out to 50s. They scored their goal. It went into 7s. Got disallowed. They went back out to 20s, and now they're 130-1. 1-0 down. Everton suspended again here. My overs bet could be toast. And Bournemouth are now 1-25.
Arsenal suspended as well.
No, unsuspended here, so that's back in play.
No, nothing's happening in the Arsenal game. I'm not too sure why.
Yeah, sometimes I feel it's the traders, putting the kettle on and he just suspends it for a second so that he doesn't get.
Yeah.
I might check back in now with the Leicester Man United game. It's always the way as well, that the game that you build up the most that everybody's looking forward to, and then not a huge amount happens early on. It's a United corner here.
Like, as things stand, Bournemouth are going down. I think it's on goals scored. So I think if Bournemouth score another goal and then results stay as they are, Bournemouth will stay up. They're on the same goal difference as Aston Villa now, and same points.
Wow. I'd actually
be a miracle if they can pull it off.
I'd written Bournemouth off, to be quite honest.
So had I, yeah. I think most people had.
Yeah.
And as I said, their away record is toxic in the Premier League.
There's a few of them, like Bournemouth are one of those teams that have just been, they've let it go awfully close to the wire, a couple of occasions.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bit of a gauntlet scramble. Leicester have a decent counter-attack opportunity here.
Yeah. In my incredibly long odds bet, the one part of that is both teams to get 2 corners in each half. There's 1 corner each so far in the United match, so that's actually a promising start there. That's 5-1.
Yeah, it's great with these all these games kicking off at the same time, but it's hard to keep track of
we just focus in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's not a huge amount to change in the odds, really. I mean, the Palace at 19-1 is obviously a jump out there, but like you said, there's nothing about Palace that would encourage you to back them. Spurs at 1-5 look pretty safe.
Yeah, I think Palace are on their holidays already.
Yeah,
they can't get Europe, can't get relegated. They're happy enough.
Yeah, so looking at this now, so yeah, Bournemouth are. No, this is the 38th game. So no, Bournemouth are 1 point behind Villa at the minute.
That wasn't what I brought up on screen there with
unless maybe
sports.
My table is a bit below. Is a bit behind.
No, I'm checking live score and it has that I think it updates live. Okay, maybe I'm wrong, or else the graphic here on BT Sports was wrong. It looked to be indicating they had the same points.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do need Villa to lose. The point for Villa would be a big one.
Yeah. Yes, it's so close down there. 35, 34, 34.
Yeah, people will be cursing. Mikel Antonio for missing that opportunity.
Yeah, that's the cruel thing when you're dependent on other results, and you'll be, watch a match a day later, and they'll see other teams miss chances that actually could have sent them down themselves.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you've been following the Newcastle match, how it looks. I mean, maybe Klopp might be tempted to bring some of his bigger names on, but Newcastle are still the outsiders in the odds, in the sense of the odds.
Yeah, I saw that after they went 1-0 up. I hadn't been tracking how the odds had moved.
Well, Liverpool have had 80% possession, so.
Yeah, it might be a decent bet because you can't really see Liverpool coming back from, whatever about getting a draw, but.
I can end this right now if you want.
Are you still there?
Yeah, sorry, I was having a little technical thing.
Oh, no problem. I'm just trying to get the action up here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very
Watford
similar.
look to be coming back against Arsenal here now.
A bit of fight in them could be. I've got actually Arsenal back in both teams to score in one of my bets, so I'd have no issue with it. Maybe 2-0 would be better, and then 2-1 as opposed to 1-0 because Arsenal do have not the best history against.
Yeah.
Watford.
Did you? I think Brighton have just taken the lead against Burnley.
Have they?
You think so? Yeah. By the odds anyway, Brighton are into 1-2. So
my odds must be slightly behind. I still see them as 3.
Or maybe they had a goal disallowed. Could be that, but I saw them out there. So
that game is just so hard to call. It's mad with Brighton. They kind of they seem to have in the last couple of seasons upset probably every team at least once, but they just can't seem to string any kind of pattern together, any kind of consistent run.
Yeah, I like the way Brighton have been playing this. They've played some good football. And I went to the Amex to see West Ham versus Brighton, and they moved the ball really, really well that day, Brian, but they just couldn't get enough goals. The defense hasn't been as good as in previous seasons as well. So they were a threat today, but when I looked at it, I couldn't. I think it's Dyche's last game there, even though it hasn't been released publicly.
What's the logic there? Where do you think he's going, or who do you think is coming in?
But he doesn't seem happy there. In terms of he wanted players to be re-signed. Like the likes of Jeff Hendrick, who his contract was coming to the end. They wouldn't offer him another year on his contract. They were just offering another couple of weeks on his contract. He didn't take it. So the last probably 3 or 4 weeks, Burnley have been down to the bare bones. And I think, again, on the West Ham side, David Moyes has probably saved his job, but there was rumours that Dyche was going to come in at West Ham to take over. So when that was happening, I thought that Dyche had kind of had his head turned, and he's probably taken Burnley as far as he can take them. He's done a brilliant job.
You really can, yeah. We looked at this before. When we looked at some of the teams in a bit more depth, and you have Burnley and Crystal Palace are probably the 2 teams that if I was a fan of, I'd be most concerned. Immediately they're not going down and they're okay, but their recruitment has not been good over the last couple of years, and their squads are incredibly kind of small and old in football terms, at least, and there's not a huge amount of room to maneuver there. The goals come from the same few players. There's not, you've got kind of your 11, 12, 13 guys who played nearly every game, and then you've got a lot of people who've got 5, 6 appearances, and that's it. So it doesn't take much to kind of upset that kind of finely balanced squad.
Yeah, and there's only so much hanging on you can do as well. Without seriously investing, there's only. I think Burnley, they had a really, really bad start to the season, if memory serves me right, and then they went on a really good run where they were winning games just by the odd goal. Mm-hmm. And without that run, they would be in trouble, that way. Instead of
Yeah.
being in top half or wherever they are now, they'd actually be in a bit of trouble. So
I think a lot of teams, whether it's the fight for the top four, Europa League, or right down to the relegation, like you take Norwich out.
Arsenal have gone 2-0 up. Kieran Tierney.
Nice. I'd actually looked at Tierney for an assist, but the price didn't really do it justice for a defender, even though he's a goal would have been a nice price though.
Yeah, Watford's heads are dropping now. You can see the reaction. Like, it's just gone, but it's actually gone. The camera went to Ben Foster and he's just laughing. So I assume he's laughing at how bad the defending was here. Like Aubameyang was on his own at the back post. Tierney was even there was no Watford player within, I'd say, 6-7 yards of Tierney. Ball just got laid back to the edge of the box and he placed it in the corner. But the shot was so tame. Two of the players, Will Hughes was going to block, and I don't know who the other guy was, a defender going out, and they kind of moved away from the ball instead of you're in a relegation battle, put your body on the line, that way.
Yeah.
I think that's Watford relegated anyway.
Yeah, there's not a huge amount of hope to come back, and you can always tell from the body language, are they up for the fight, or is it just kind of fading away from them? So.
Well, they'd shown signs of some fight in the the bit I'm watching here. I'm kind of flicking between games, between the West Ham game and this, and they had shown a little bit of attack and threat. They'd gone up, they got a corner, and they'd worked a bit of the ball nicely. But I said the defending there was just terrible. Arsenal had all day, and. On the water break now, but I can't see any way back for Watford.
Yeah, and as well, when you said about the defender being terrible, the teams that go down, they're always the teams with the awful defence. That it's very rarely a lack of goals sends a team down. It's the teams that just can't hang on to. You pick up enough 0-0s and 1-0s, you'll stay up. But if you're conceding 2-3 a game, especially soft goals like that one I've just seen it, it's you're in serious trouble.
Yeah. I'll flick back onto the West Ham game here, but there wasn't really much, apart from the Antonio chance, there wasn't really much going on in the first 20 minutes there on the water break as well. So hopefully things get a little bit more entertaining than that one.
Is it the water break or the extra substitutions that they've voted to keep in next season? It's the extra substitutions.
Extra substitutions, yeah, which I really, really dislike. But
I don't see how that gets taken away. I don't see how they unwind that after, it'll be a season and a half's worth of doing it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely there to stay,
Yeah, which is
it benefits the big teams so much, when Man City, if United go out and invest, Liverpool, even Liverpool this year, being able to bring on likes of Shaqiri and it just benefits those big teams so much. Whereas you've got the likes of Burnley, and in the last 4 games of this season, as I said, they've had 17, 18-year-olds on the bench to fill it up because they haven't had enough actual pros fit to fill the bench. So I think it just makes that divide even worse.
I don't know, had we said it, Sheffield have gone up, 1 up?
No, I hadn't seen that.
Yeah, it's still suspended, but they're 1-0 up.
I can see it's 1-0, yeah.
They're only just inside. They're even money and they're 1-0 up. That's crazy.
Our bet, our 11k doesn't seem to be working out too well. We need a little bit of a miracle to come back from where we are.
Still plenty of time, but
plenty of time, yeah. Which is not the greatest start in the world. But there's a couple of bets. I said my goal bet is looking okay. So I'm hoping that can kind of bring a reward for the day.
Yeah, actually, what's really letting me down is Burnley. I've got them in two of my bets here, and a lot of the other stuff is looking okay, except them. It's unfortunate.
I can see City's gone suspended there. Tonight, because in my goals bet I had both teams to score in Norwich versus City. So I think it was was like 15-8 or something like that. And, because Norwich had beat them earlier on in the season, I was like, well, anything could happen. City could go a couple of goals up and be a bit complacent or whatever, so I put it in. But it would have been nice to have, if that goal had stood earlier for Norwich, you'd have that leg in.
Yeah.
The juicy leg of it.
So if it all stays goalless here, which I presume is very unlikely, but if it all stays goalless, it's Leicester that's going to miss out, right, on the Champions League, yeah.
Yeah. So United just need a draw. And they're kind of starting to sit back. So the first few minutes they attacked, then Leicester got on top. Then it was kind of 50-50. But now, like, as I'm looking at it here, really, that Martial's the only real player pressing. The rest of the United players are kind of sitting back. So
they draw. Sorry, if that's a draw and Chelsea lose, Chelsea will actually be the ones who miss out.
How's the Chelsea game going? Have you any sight of that?
Yeah, just stats. It seems fairly quiet. I'm not actually watching it. Is that one being televised? I didn't realise it was.
No, I thought there might be a stream going. I don't think it is being televised.
I think the two bets I looked at there were Giroud to score 2 or more was like 17-2 maybe. 17-2 I think, which is, but I think in the end I went with him to score a header at 7-1. It seemed an awful lot better value.
Yeah. What was it, 7-1?
7-1 to score a header, yeah.
That is decent, all right.
Yeah. Pretty quiet now across the matches, really. That's what you do get when you kind of have, like, say, in the Palace-Tottenham match. It's nearly going to turn into just an exhibition game at this point. There's nothing really to play for anybody.
Yeah, it can be like that, all right. Yeah, United, as I said, they're starting a bit of pressing now, but I do think it's their best strategy is
sit back.
Counter-attack on Leicester, but you don't want to be sitting too far back either.
Well, we talked about this, I think, last weekend about Arsenal and their kind of struggles flicking between sitting back and pressing, and they're not sure. It's easy to do it for any minute, but to do it for 90 minutes, it's not easy. You need to be kind of drilled in it. So, Man United have a very, the attack thing, and they're under pressure from their fans a lot of the time to play quite adventurously. So those players wouldn't have sit in your box for 90 minutes drilled into them. So if they're not comfortable doing it, it might not be the best approach for them, unless they can do it maybe for one game or something. But they've been quite effective at nicking the ball up the field a bit this season. So maybe, in principle, maybe sitting back might be a better approach, but is it going to be the better approach for these players?
Sorry to cut across you now, because I'm a bit behind. Like, I'm on Sky Go here with the Leicester match.
Yeah, I've just seen it.
It's just gone suspended.
United. Yeah.
It's United, is it?
Yeah. Well, their price has dropped into 1-4 or 1.4.
So Bruno Fernandes has the ball here, gives it away.
Oh. They've gone back out to outside even money and it's gone suspended, so I'd say it's a VAR check.
Okay. It's amazing how far behind like Sky Go is if there is a goal, because at the minute the ball's just being played around the halfway line.
Disallowed.
Oh, Bruno Fernandes as well. I think he knew that it was offside when he finished it, just by the look on his face, So Arsenal has gone suspended again. Let me have a look and see.
I just got a text. Yeah, I just got a text from someone saying by Watford, so I can assume that was.
Yeah.
That was what was that.
So let me see who it is. So to throw in from Tierney on the left hand side. Oh my God, that's terrible. It's Aubameyang as well. Great finish by Aubameyang, but like the same defender who could have put his head onto like the shot for the second goal, he ducked out of going for a header. Meant the ball went through to Aubameyang on the edge of the 6-yard box. He just took one touch and then an overhead into top corner. So it was a great finish, but like absolutely catastrophic defending.
I saw the clip, by the way, from the keeper laughing, and I think that ball went through 3 players basically before it got to the goal. Like,
yeah.
So I think that's why the keeper was laughing. Like, he's not going to be looking at the part that his 3 defenders are blocking. He's going to be looking at the rest of the goal.
Yeah, but as I said, like, if the defenders had any fight about them whatsoever, they definitely could have got their bodies onto it. Like, because like the 2 of them moved their heads away. Like, just put your head there and let it hit off it,
Yeah. Arsenal are 1-10. It's pretty generous considering City were 1-25.
Because I'm seeing 1-40, so 1-10 would actually be a good investment. Like, where are you going to get that 10% from? You're not going to get it in a bank,
No. I see there was 1.15 now on the exchange. Even better than that. Was that 1-8?
So one of my actually getting, like, if I was Arsenal now or Arteta, I'd start to look after a few of my players because, like, Pereira has just chopped down Tierney halfway line. I think they could just, like, I hope that Deeney gets a book him because I have him to be booked, but they could start getting quite cynical from Watford now.
Yeah, I actually made him I've not had a particularly successful season at the 5 scorers, but today's actually just sums it up for me because I took out 2 players and it was at Aubameyang for 2 and Jesus, and I changed Jesus for Sterling and Aubameyang second for Lacazette, and I have 4 out of 7 up already if I hadn't made that last minute change. So I think I'm going to take that one on the chin. It's not been my year.
Yeah, I made I swapped out Aubameyang for Lacazette, which has turned out to be a bad decision as well.
I do agree. I do think
this could be 7 or 8-0. Like if Watford continue kind of as they are, they could get an absolute drubbing. Like,
Yeah. I think I'd be taking off some of those players like you mentioned there. Aubameyang for sure. I know he doesn't pick up injuries, but he's liable to be scythed down as you mentioned. So I'd take him off for sure. And then maybe look at there's not a huge amount of room at the back for Arsenal. There's not. A couple of the defenders are already injured, so maybe rotate one of them out as well.
So Bruno Fernandes is down here for United. Looks injured. He's a bad tackle. Looks around the halfway line, and it caught him on the ankle, so he has his boot off. He's getting some attention.
Hopefully,
wouldn't want to lose him, like
No, he's been a phenomenal addition. Sometimes those ankle, if you get kicked on the outside of that ankle bone, it's agony for 3 or 4 minutes, and then it kind of subsides. Hopefully, it's something like that.
Yeah, no, he looks around. He's walking off, giving out. So I say it'd be all right. As you said, probably just one of those like impact injuries, Joe.
Yeah. Like a stud on an ankle is alarmingly sore.
Yeah.
West Ham, Aston Villa seems to have gone very quiet.
Yeah, from what I've seen, I've obviously been flicking between games, but from what I've seen, West Ham look on top, and I think they're still around 2-1. Check here.
Yeah.
They're
more
9-4.
Like,
that looks like a decent enough bet, considered. Like, they have been the dominant team here, but there has been a lack of goal amount action. I have to say, and they can't cancel each other out. But I say that now, West Ham are actually on a half decent attack. Jarbourne down the right hand side didn't cross it, and he probably should have swung it into the back post, but he didn't. But they still have the ball, building up nicely.
Liverpool look to have equalised, but the odds don't seem to reflect that. So that might be another one that's under review of some sort. They're still 2-1
over here, but I'll probably. So yeah, it's 1-1. Oxlade-Chamberlain down the right hand side, and it is it Fabinho at the back post?
That's crazy.
Virgil van Dijk at the back post. It must have been like the remnants of a corner, but Van Dijk has scored anyway. So back to 1-1.
That's crazy that they're still 2-1, and they were whatever massively odds on before kickoff, and then 1-1 after half an hour, and they'd be 2-1. Maybe Newcastle
Are
are
they
just
still 2-1?
look at now 2.94 on the exchange, 2.96.
Okay, yeah, the sportsbook is totally different to that now. The sportsbook had them at 4-6, so
Maybe there's just some latency in the odds showing up here. If you tried to back it, maybe you wouldn't get it.
Tottenham is suspended again. But yeah, I said, like, West Ham do look like a decent in-play bet at 9-4. I might wait till half time and then pull the trigger on that. See, like, if they drifted to 3-1, I'd be very, very tempted. But they could, like, there are 7 minutes left in this half. It wouldn't surprise me if they were 1-0 up at half time. Aston Villa kind of seem out of sorts, do you know? Like they don't.
Yeah.
Because I actually went to Aston Villa versus West Ham up in Villa, and Villa were really kind of energetic. Their midfield was like it was a 0-0 draw, but the reason that West Ham couldn't get into the game really was because of Villa's midfield. But they just seem to be sitting back now today. It's like they're happy with the draw, which I know a draw would be enough for them, given the way the results are going.
They didn't know that at the time, you know.
Exactly, and it's a dangerous game to play because, as I said, like another Bournemouth goal and a West Ham goal probably relegates them. Like I think I haven't got the table in front of me, but that's
a West Ham goal would put Villa from 35 back to 34 points.
Yeah, and another Bournemouth goal then puts Bournemouth a goal ahead on goal difference.
But actually, no, because if Villa concede, they lose one already, so that would only.
Yeah. So it's a dangerous game to be playing, just sitting back and hoping for a draw, you know.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, they probably were like us and discounted Bournemouth's chances before the game. So.
Yeah, but you know, if it's your survival in the league, you can't take that chance.
Exactly. Speaking of Everton versus Bournemouth, that game has gone suspended again there.
Everton are 7-1.
To go for Everton. Moise Keane.
Yeah. But obviously that 7-1 isn't available on them anymore, but 7-1 is a big price for a team at home. Moise Keane is actually one of those, they spent a lot of money at Everton and it didn't all kind of go to plan. Moise Keane is probably not being.
He could be one for next season though. He seemed a bit he seems a bit of a baby, and some of those players you have to give them a season. Oh, hold on, is that a penalty? If Vardy hadn't have been as kind of, as honest there, he probably could have got a penalty because there was a cross that came across and Vardy got the first touch to it. Maguire kind of came in and hit him shoulder to shoulder, and Vardy stayed on his feet. But I think if Vardy had upended himself, he would have given the ref something to think about. Now I'd say it's probably still not a penalty, but the honesty, I'd say, was what made the rest mind up from there, especially with Maguire being on the yellow already.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on, here's Rashford. Oh. A decent chance there. He just took a little bit too long. So if the results stay the way they are at half time, I think I'm going to back West Ham.
West Ham.
Yeah, because if the way Villa have played, if at half time they know a draw is enough, they'll probably continue to sit back and West Ham could hit him. Hold on, here's Troy Deeney, penalty for Watford.
It's okay.
It's not all over.
Arsenal, I think it is, but I have Arsenal in both teams to score, so I'm okay with a penalty.
He scored. He scored.
You're absolutely miles ahead of me. I haven't even seen the penalty come up yet.
I'm watching it live here on the Sky Sports, so it's mad. The keeper Martinez, is it for Arsenal?
Yeah.
He pointed to the corner. He was pointed down to his left hand side, as if to say to Deeney, "That's the way I'm going." And then Deeney just blasted it low and hard into that corner, and the keeper had no chance. Likes to keep look like a dork now.
He's actually been very impressive though, Martinez, since he's been.
He has been, yeah.
Which is, it's funny that Arsenal have had keeper problems for a long, long time, and then they got Leno, and he actually slightly rocky start, but then has become quite an accomplished keeper. And now a lot of the Arsenal fans are saying that maybe keep Martinez. That you can't just drop him now next season when Leno is back.
I don't think I've ever seen such a schizophrenic performance from a team. Like, Watford looked to have no passion whatsoever. They've got a goal, and now they're back in the game. Like,
it's gone suspended again. Oh no,
because Xhaka put in a tackle there. I did a bet for Xhaka to be booked in it, and he's just told the ref to fuck off. So I was hoping he would get.
That 40-1 for a draw in that Arsenal game.
I'm hoping he gets booked. Get the book out, Dino. Yeah, he has got booked. Lovely. He's again booked for dissent. So I did a bet earlier on. It was actually, I hope Salah doesn't come on. It was a Paddy Power prize pool, so it's 40-1 for Aubameyang to score, for Salah to score, Xhaka to be booked, and Tarkowski to be booked in the Burnley game.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously Salah's on the bench for Liverpool. Xhaka has been booked. Aubameyang has scored. So a Tarkowski booking would probably still be 20-1. I'd say they'd play on it. The way they'll reduce it down. But speaking of which, the Burnley-Brighton game has been suspended for a while. There's obviously something happening in it. Watford have an injury now to a player, so I'm going to flick away from it for a second. But they also have a dangerous free kick, or a free kick in a dangerous position, I should say. Oh. Looks like Burnley equalised.
That's suspended.
Or the odds anyway. So I'm seeing 7-4 Burnley. They were 6-1. So I assume they've equalised. Hasn't updated on Betfair yet.
Mine neither.
Yeah, they have equalised on it. So Chris Wood has scored.
A few people have him in our scorers competition.
Bournemouth have gone 2-1 up.
That quickly?
Just on the 45th minute.
And
City have gone 2-0 up. Kevin De Bruyne.
It's like Bournemouth, yeah. That Everton match might become the go-to-ram of the day. You see those end of season games with just goal equaliser.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I could do it.
Chelsea have just scored as well.
Oh, have they?
Yeah. See who this is now. I've seen Rudiger had a header. Oh, that got blocked. Who's this going to be?
Mason Mount.
Don't think anybody has him.
No, I had Giroud.
He kind of went out of form for a bit, didn't he?
Yeah.
I went a bit quiet, maybe.
So looks like this United game is going to go to half-time, 0-0.
My particularly adventurous bet is gone anyway because I had 2 corners for both teams in the first half and United got it but Leicester didn't, so I can save the retirement for a...
Is it half-time already? Because I'm a bit behind, so...
No, but I mean, it's injury time. They're not going to get 2 corners, I don't think.
Well, if they had no corners?
None. No, I thought it was 1-1 at some point, but I checked again and it was 0-2, so... Yeah, 3 corners for United now and none for Leicester. Bournemouth are going 2-1 up. I've got a kind of combination of goals and wins. It's pretty reasonable at the minute. It does have Everton though, which is letting it down big time. Everything else is pretty okay.
I think Chelsea might have scored again because they're into 1-20.
Jeb suspended.
Yeah, they have gone 2-0 up.
So that's pretty look. Any word on who it was?
No, I'm just trying to check here. Oh, Giroud.
Lovely.
Don't know whether it was a header now or not, but
I have him any time as well in a different one that's not looking too bad. I've got Giroud to score. I actually didn't mention this one earlier because it's a little bit later on, but Giroud to score any time, 11-8, that's in. Arsenal and both teams to score at 5-2. That's pretty much on track. West Ham to win at 7-5, right? Then Bologna to win later on. Roma and both teams to score over 2.5 in the Cagliari game. They're all more or less evens. Sorry, Roma's 2-1, the others are evens. And then Verona to beat Lazio. But that is a gigantic payout of that one. I mean, there's an awful lot left, but the early parts are looking nice.
Yeah, the 11 grand bet has a bit to do, but I mean, it's not impossible. We need Southampton to come back against Sheffield United and Everton to come back against Bournemouth. But apart from that, it's doing all right. I must go in and check the stats on the player stats and just see how whether Origi or Silva have managed to get any shots on target. They're the two I don't know how they're getting on.
Mm-hmm. What do I just see here? Did Troy Deeney get booked? No, he didn't. He just
not yet. No,
not yet.
Hopefully he does. Yeah, neither of them had a shot on target, unfortunately. So yeah, it's quite a bit to do.
Yellow card there.
It's half time in all the games, is it?
Yeah.
Flip over to see is there any race and all.
Did you say you had Pereira to be booked?
No, Pereira got booked.
Oh right, I thought you said you had him.
Yeah, no, I need Tarkovsky for that enhanced one, and then I've got Deeney and Aka. So there's a race just going off here at Ascot. And there's a John Gosden horse with Kieran Fallon aboard. But
you'd like to look up?
Yeah, so each way he's like 9-1, so I think he's worth an each way bet. It's Rapopo, his name is, or Rapopo. So them there.
Some of those evens teams like Chelsea and Arsenal 9-10 and 5-4 looking very comfortable. You know, even money bets at half time.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the risk, John. Why did we take the risk on it? In fact, I have another bet that you're in on as well. That pays 12 grand, but we need goals in the United game for that. Otherwise, it'd be looking fairly likely. There's Bologna versus Lecce in Italy, and we need Bologna to win and both teams to score, and Bologna are 2-0 up. We have Arsenal and both teams to score, and Arsenal are whatever 3 or 4-1 up.
You Bologna and yes, was it, or not just Bologna to win?
Bologna and yes, yeah. So I think they're 2-0 up, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. So I just wasn't sure if you'd said it that both teams to score part or not.
Yeah. So it was both teams to score active. But I'm just going to watch this race. Currently in last position, so hopefully he improves from there. The race in Ascot this weekend has been really good, but Goodwood this week is going to be sensational. Goodwood and Galway on together, like it usually clashes, and it's quality racing at Goodwood, and then just a punt fest at Galway.
Is there any early fancies that you've kind of had your eye on for a while, or?
Yes and no. Nothing that I want to share at the minute. There's a couple that I've picked out, but I need to do a bit more of research or study into them because, the race are quite competitive. But yeah, there'll definitely be a few throughout the week that I'll fancy. This horse hasn't gone great now for me, so hopefully they go better than he did. Unless he stays on like a train, but I doubt it.
Actually, just for the entertainment of the goals in the United match, so those 2 late Chelsea goals in that half have put Chelsea to third, which is, kind of takes the doubt out about the draws and stuff in the other match. Could, would Leicester scrape it if they, it's kind of clear now. Leicester need to come out and they need to score. So it's going to open up, presumably, in the second half.
Yeah, I might flick over and watch. I'll actually do that. I'll watch that game outright on live, so I'm not behind on these on the Sky Go stream.
Yeah, because I think if there was the chance that a draw could suit Leicester, like say if Wolves had gone ahead, then it would just be a strange second half. But now Leicester know that 2-0 up, they need to go for this.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Villa do. They're now in a position where a goal relegates them.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see if they try and hang on for the draw or whether they try and attack and go for a win. Like,
yeah, you read about these sometimes, and the manager doesn't let the players find out. He kind of blocks the communication out and take it one game at a time. Maybe I wonder what the approach would be here with these more modern kind of managers and stuff. Would they, do you want your players to know, or do you just want to kind of keep it simple and let them take the match as it stands?
Yeah, it's hard to know. All right. So I'm trying to look through my best to see.
Yeah, I'm going to step away for 1 minute there while we're at halftime before these come back. So I'll be gone for 1 moment.
Yeah, grand. So for the people viewing,
you hear me?
We will be doing a daily get together. So for basically every day at around 9 p.m. On this channel, we'll be streaming live, giving our thoughts on the next day's events, and obviously we want to see what bets we fancy for the next day. We'll then review them in the evening time and be able to give just feedback on what we think on them. Anybody who fancies seeing us will then make sure to tune in. In terms of bets at halftime, for me, I've just pulled the trigger on a double. So given the Leicester need to come out and get the victory, I think that could open them up to a counter-attack, I backed United. And then I said West Ham seem to have dominated the Villa game. So it's 11-8 United and 13-5 West Ham. So I've pulled the trigger on that double. It's around a 6-1 double. Definitely worth a bet in my opinion. Obviously, West Ham is the dodgier leg of the two, with nothing to play for. But the longer the game goes on and the longer that one goal relegates Villa, I think they'll drop back. And if the likes of Haller come on for West Ham, there could be a few nervy moments when the ball is delivered into the box. So that would be my current recommendation of a bet. And I said I pulled the trigger on it there, so fingers crossed comes off. It'd be a nice 6-1 shot. Aside from that, I don't see any other standout bets for the rest of the day. Burnley at home still jumped to win at home. Obviously, went 1-0 down. They've come back and levelled. That might be another one that people fancy. Liverpool 8-11, but again, they haven't really got much to play for. So I said my standout would be United 11-8, and mixed it with West Ham at 13-5. And they seem to be the value prices. In terms of status of my bets, so far probably the best one that I have going is the 40-1 around Aubameyang and Salah to score a goal and Xhaka and Tarkowski to be booked. So obviously Salah didn't start for Liverpool. I hope he doesn't come on. And that Tarkowski gets booked for Burnley. So that's the one that's probably going best. I also have a treble of United, West Ham, and Chelsea. So obviously the Chelsea leg looks in there, but relying on Leicester and Man United. So if Leicester and Man United can pull it off, that'll be a double and a treble landed for me, and will be quite a good day. So fingers crossed that can come up. Our £5 to 11 grand has a lot of work to do. It's still not totally dead, but it's probably as long a shot now as it was when we initially put on the bet. But I said we kind of knew that beforehand. And then I have another bet going that I'm not too sure if I mentioned, but it was 250-1 with Paddy Power, kind of a novelty bet for each team to have 4 corners in the games. So that has a little bit to do with the likes of Norwich. Leicester haven't had any corners so far, so I need them to pull their act together and try and get a few corners on the board. But I mean, I'm a fiver on at 250-1, so it's something to figure on. Not what I would normally do. Normally my bets would be pretty well researched. Given it's the last day of the Premier League season, anything can happen. So I said I'd pull the trigger on that.
Did I just come back in here? You mentioned you got a double and a treble on the verge of, or reasonably likely to come in.
Well, not reasonably. So I said I put on a double there just at half time, so it's not as if it's something that I had on at the start. But from watching the game, so watching Man United and watching the West Ham game, I think United and West Ham are the most likely to win those games. So I've put a double on there, but I had a treble on of Chelsea, West Ham, and United at the start. So obviously Chelsea are looking good in that. So basically, if United and West Ham can pull it off, I'll land both of those.
What does the double pay that you put on at half time?
So it's a 6-1. I've actually put €30 on it now, so it'll be 250, 260.
6-1 is nice for that though.
Yeah. And then I've the double, or sorry, the treble, that pays another 200 something, so it'll be around 500 if West Ham United can win, so it's not too bad.
Very good.
Then I said we have a very long shot on the 11 grand bet, but we knew that when we were putting it on. And then the 2 request to bet kind of novelty bets that I did, one of them's going well. So Aubameyang has scored. Salah isn't on the pitch. Xhaka has been booked, so I need Tarkowski to be booked in that game. So fingers crossed that can happen. I think the games are going to start kicking off again now.
Did you say Aubameyang Wood scored?
That's what live score gave, yeah.
So one of our 7 scorers is just waiting on Sterling and Salah. He's got 5 up already.
Oh, really?
Wow. Yeah, just looking at this here. Little update for for the people who signed up to that, and we can share the details with our viewers for next season's competition. But yeah, it's looking like a pretty successful last day for a couple of the guys.
Yeah, I kind of forget who I have in there. I know I had Giroud.
You have Silva, Phil Foden, Rashford, Fornals, Lacazette, Ings, and Giroud.
Okay, good to go. 1 from 7 isn't bad.
Yeah. Well, this guy's got 5 out of 7. So
Yeah, I know. I did go. I kind of went, with the Fernals and the Foden ones. I like to go a little bit off kilter on that because today most people have the big strikers in there. So that's why I went a little bit outside the box on it. But yeah, I only do that for a bit of fun, so happy.
yeah, obviously the last day it's going to be one anyway. We've got a lot of 3s, 4s, and 5s already up, so be interesting to see how it goes. I think Sterling is a big one for the second half.
Keep an eye on that. Leicester Man United seems to have kicked off again, so let me just go. Yeah. Oh, actually, just as I flick back, Martial was in on goal. Wes Morgan tackled, but it looked to be a fair tackle.
You got Wes Morgan to be booked and United to win, so you'd be cheering.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
I think was it Morgan? No, it actually wasn't Morgan. It was number 2. I don't know who plays number 2 for them. Some young right back. A guy called Justin. Never even heard of him, but it was a good tackle. So I'm going to be behind on the Villa game. There's actually West Ham are making changes here, so Yarmolenko and Haller are coming on at half time.
Positive.
Yeah, good positive change.
Oh, Lecce have scored, by the way. Bologna is 2-1. Sure, both teams have
really?
scored. Is in there, yep.
Nice one. I said there's a bit to go on that. I need United in that one, so I won't be getting too excited for a while. But
sometimes when you put on that double and you mentioned, I could be the same myself. You're so confident in a team that they end up in nearly every acca. But the problem with that is then that if it goes against your expectations and they wipe out the whole day's afternoon or the whole day's entertainment of betting.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I think this game, the game has kicked off a couple of minutes ago, but obviously I'm a few minutes behind. So
yeah, I think Everton are going to be that team for me today. I thought 6 to 5 or whatever they were was just too good to pass up on, and I've included nearly everything.
Yeah, they've just been in terrible form. As I said, the only thing I'd say to you is that Bournemouth's away form has been terrible, and they'll start to get nervous the longer the game goes on. So especially if news filters through that, let's say West Ham go 1-0 up and news filters through that the victory is keeping them up, they might get nervous and retreat back. So there's still a lot of action to go,
Yeah.
So United have a semi-decent attack going here. It's just been broken up.
Yeah.
As I say, West Ham were by far the better side in the first half in this game, and in the first minute, Aston Villa have come out and started really, really brightly. So hopefully that isn't an omen for things to come.
Yeah, well, sometimes when that happens, if you just survive the storm or weather the storm for the first 5 minutes, then it'll kind of settle back into its pre-halftime kind of pattern. That's the optimistic take on it anyway.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. The United game's getting fairly scrappy now. Rashford just committed a foul there. He's given a free kick to Leicester. It shouldn't be too dangerous. It's kind of just inside the United half, but you have the likes of Evans and Morgan about, when any ball's going into the box,
Yeah, some big targets there.
Yeah. Haller has just come on and he's down injured, so it looks like just an impact injury. But
am I right in thinking West Ham have had a few kind of long term. A lot of injury problems, especially in the attacking part of the squad.
They had, yeah. The lockdown kind of helped them a little bit get the likes of, because Yarmolenko was out injured and there's a couple of others, and it helped them get them back. And I think Southampton have equalised against Sheffield United there.
Very good. I've Southampton in a couple of ones.
Yeah,
Although I had two bets picked out for 2 games picked out for the unders, 2.5, 3 games really. I had Burnley, Brighton, Everton, Bournemouth, and Southampton, Sheffield would have been my 3 temptations to back under, and they're not looking likely.
So I'm trying to find out who scored. West Ham have given away a free kick in a fairly dangerous position here for Villa. So it's just outside the 18-yard box on the right-hand wing. Conor Horan took it and she's been headed out for a corner for Villa. Che Adams scored for Southampton.
It's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Yeah, he took a while to get going, but played well the last couple of weeks. I think he actually got his first Premier League goal very recently, but he had chances at the start of the season, a lot of really, really good chances, and missed them, and I think his whole confidence went then. Leicester are coming on to United now. That's kind of we would have expected. Expect United to sit so deep, though.
You didn't expect them to sit so deep?
Like, as in, I expected them to sit deep, but not, like, I mean, the centre halves were on the 18-yard box and the midfield's about 5 yards ahead of them, you know. I thought that they'd be sitting a bit higher, bit of a higher line.
That type of play, though, that you're describing from Leicester, it's not really... Palace have just equalised. So that's an interesting one. Leicester aren't really used to that type of, camping outside the other team's box and just pinging it around. It's not really been their style or their strategy for the last few years.
Villa have a decent attack going here, although West Ham have got... Initially, it looked like if they had a broker pace, they would have troubled, but it turned into a 5-on-2. But Grealish has done very, very well. He took on Ryan Fredericks down the left-hand side, and Fredericks had to hack him down. So Fredericks has just been yellow carded. Kind of a silly tackle from Fredericks because, like, Grealish was going... He was on his bad foot and he was going really nowhere. So he could have seen him out of play, dived in, up a booking. So they're starting to put West Ham under a little bit of pressure here, which isn't great for what I wanted. It was always the risk with back in West Ham is that they don't start the second half as well as they started the first. They played in the first. But
did we see that Brighton have gone 2-1 up? Not sure if you mentioned that.
I did not see that. There's goals going in all over the place.
Yeah.
So it was Schlupp who scored for Palace, and Aaron Connolly, actually, the Irishman, has scored for Brighton. It's nice to see from an Irish perspective.
Yeah.
It's just nice to see that he's getting his game as well, like, you know.
Yeah. This question nearly could have been a follow-on to that statement, but I was going to ask you a moment ago, do you think Grealish's hope is there any chance they'll stick around if Villa stay up?
So I think he was a shoo-in to go to United at the start of the season, especially the way he started the season. But his antics during lockdown, I don't know whether, like, United want the baggage that comes with him. You know, like he's only 23 or something like that, but he's had a lot of baggage down through the years with, like, you know,
the lockdown.
Crashed his Range Rover and got out and he had like a flip flop on one foot and a shoe on the other or whatever. And then he, when he was really young, he was in Marbella doing the laughing gas or whatever it is. So from that perspective, I think he's kind of shot himself in the foot. Tottenham probably won't spend much money either, considering they've just spent whatever £1 billion on the stadium, and then with lockdown they're losing revenue. So they would have been the two teams that really could have afforded to bring him in terms of top teams. So to answer your question, I think he'll go somewhere, but
yeah,
it mightn't be to one of the top teams.
My feeling now is that it
might be a bad move if he goes. If he went somewhere, I don't know. Let's say an Everton, like that could be a bad move for him. Like that way. I think if he's gonna move, he needs to go to a top team. It's just whether he's done himself out of a move is the question.
I do think though a lot of players, I think they get over that baggage awfully quick. If they need to. A lot of those, the biggest stars or everybody, like Vardy, for example, he's baggage more than any other player. And if you could assign Vardy, I don't think anyone would care about that.
Yeah,
he had it over the years. I don't think he's done nothing particularly bad. It's kind of noise more than anything that it's not going to stop people buying jerseys, and So I think I don't think that'll put them off. You just think that with United and Bruno Fernandes, the need isn't as their midfield is an awful lot better than it was before Christmas. They might not be looking there. They've spent a lot of money on the defence.
I think if they were signing them, they'd be sticking them on the wing more than.
Oh yeah, I know, but say
they play central for Villa, but that's a necessity.
No, but even just creativity, you're looking at right. We've got a player now.
Nearly. So sorry, United kind of attacked there, a little bit of a break, and Greenwood played a through ball for Martial, who looked to stay onside, but it was probably just about 2 yards over hit. So Schmeichel came out and got it ahead of Martial. Sorry, I could cross it there, but I was a bit excited when I saw that Martial run through. I said in the West Ham game, Villa are absolutely dominating now. So the price at half time, well, it looked big for West Ham. It's now starting, if they continue down this route, I can't see them winning it. Like, they've hardly had an attack in the first 10 minutes of the second half. So hopefully they can turn it around a bit, especially the substitutes. So Haller hasn't done much, Yarmolenko hasn't done much. I think it just, so Antonio was one of the players that went off, and Bowen looks to be the other player that's gone off. Actually, hold on, West Ham are attack here, but Bowen seems to be a brilliant signing for West Ham, and he's kind of making them tick. He adds a lot of kind of pace and creativity, which is exactly what West Ham were missing. Without him, they're very slow and kind of laboured through midfield, whereas John said he gives that bit of injection of pace. So it's noticeable that he's gone off here in the second half performance so far.
Yeah, at West Ham this season and last season, we've watched them a lot, and they can be very pedestrian at times,
Yeah, I think it is that it's the transition from defence to attack. They seem to slow it down considerably in midfield. And by that stage, the defenders have got back, and they just don't have the creativity. I think you can slow it down if you have a De Bruyne in your team who will slot it through the eye of a needle or whatever. But when you've got limited midfielders, you need to keep the ball moving quick.
I think a lot of that seems to have been, we've talked countless times about how football changes over the years, and I think teams are so focused now on not losing the ball. It seems, it's an obsession with a lot of the managers that they don't. They won't take that chance.
The crossbar there.
Wow, you're so far ahead of me on that stream. I don't see it. Not even close yet.
Yeah, no, it's literally just happened. So I'm watching it live now on Sky. Ball got crossed in. They had a dangerous free kick. Tielemans took it. Vardy knocked it on from post and kind of big loop and header towards the back post. And it hit the joint of the crossbar on the post.
That could be the difference between Champions League and Europa League now for them.
Exactly. it's level in Burnley Brighton now. Jay Rodriguez has equalised for Burnley.
My under 2.5 predictions have been woeful.
Luckily, you didn't put them on, did you?
No, I had included under 2.5 in the Everton game in a bet that in the same one that had 2 corners each in the first half for United, so it was gone anyway. I think that bet was a no-hoper anyway, so I did, but it's not impacting anything that I have live at the minute.
Or Leicester have just had another half chance there, and it was half chances as best you could describe it. But they've won a corner out of it anyway. So United wouldn't want to. As I said, I was expecting them to sit back and go on the counter, but they've set back really, really far.
It backfire.
These set pieces giving them away, they could prove costly.
Liverpool have gone 2-1 up, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The Burnley goal seems to be under review there for VAR. So
Origi got it, actually. You have him for shots, do you?
Well, he's in the 11 grand bet for shots on target, yeah. So at least we know we had one shot on target.
Yeah.
So the Brighton goal it looks to be chalked off, I think.
Strange, it's still up on Betfair. Or on my Betfair, at least.
No, it's chalked off on Sky Bet anyway. I wonder, so again, this is something that I need to look into, but with VAR, is there a way of looking at when they get suspended and unsuspended and seeing if you know a goal hasn't been given, but they haven't suspended the marker properly, can you get in there and sneak in? Sorry, I'm just distracted here because West Ham have won a free kick in a dangerous position. So just on the edge of the box, Noble was hacked down.
On the exchange, you can get Brighton at 3.5. Like, that won't last.
Probably not, yeah. It might be a good bet.
Yeah, back into 1.7 now. As the VAR impact is felt.
This is a dangerous enough free kick for West Ham now because they have a lot of height. Like Souček has been on form. He's just signed that new contract to sign permanently. Yarmolenko went straight for goal and just put it into the side net. West Ham are yet to have a corner, which is quite strange.
Yeah.
And ruins my 250 to 1 4 corners for each team.
Yeah.
I know there's quite a few that corners would be needed for that bet to come in. City have had 8.
That's always the way it goes, though. When you back something in every single game, some of them work out well, and some of them are just there's always one just outlier that wrecks it for you.
Yeah, exactly. What's happening in the Everton game? Do you know? Are they?
No, I've gone off that one.
Still 2-1 down. I know.
Yeah.
Could do a goal in that to make the rest of the evening interesting for me. So a few bets that are still live, you know.
And they all have Everton to win or goals?
Everton to win, yeah. So I said at the moment it's pretty uninteresting. Like, but the other legs are kind of up, you know. They have Arsenal and Chelsea who shouldn't lose from those positions. So yeah, it's really just waiting on Everton.
Yeah. Looking at our live feed here, we seem to have had another Zoom issue. So I think the sound is okay, but our heads are now stationary.
Okay.
So to anyone watching that, we apologise for the technical issue.
Zoom gets tired every now and then.
Yeah, it always seems to be around the same mark as well. So I wonder, is it, a timing issue?
There hasn't been a goal in a while now in the Premier League, so
Yeah.
Hoping for a flurry of goals towards the end. Last 25 minutes, squeaky bum time, as Fergie once said.
Yeah.
Bruno Fernandes, should have. Man, Bruno Fernandes, like he had been like doing everything he did just came off for a while.
Yeah.
But in today's game and in the game against West Ham, he's just been like a yard off on everything he's done. There he had a fairly easy through ball for a player of his quality that would have set Rashford through, and he kind of underhit it by about a yard of a pass, like, so strange to see the way he's just gone a little bit off form.
Yeah. That's something that, my personal bias might be part of the play, but I often see or certainly have a memory that a lot of players, when they go to United, can really hit the ground running. And maybe it's the whole excitement of arriving, and then a lot of them peter off. Like that David James at the start of the season, everyone was comparing him to even other clubs.
James.
What?
Daniel James. David was the goalkeeper.
Yeah, Daniel James. Comparing him to other teams' forward signings, and he's been, he completely dropped. I think he had 3 goals in the first 5 games, and that's been it since. I know he's not there to score goals. Wan-Bissaka hasn't really, a lot of the fans that we've spoken to recently are kind of softening on him a bit. Even Maguire, he was, great stats at the start of the season, kind of not looking so good now. I don't know, maybe it's just coincidence, or even just my memory of it could be the issue. But
I'd say it's probably just coincidence. Like, I wouldn't give up on Daniel. I know a lot of United fans seem to have given up on Daniel James, but I wouldn't give up on him just yet. I think,
I don't think he's a bad player at all. I don't think he's ever going to become a bad player. I think it's just they're a lot more average than the kind of exceptional first few weeks that he had,
Exactly, yeah. Oh, penalty, is it? It looks to be a penalty for Man United. Johnny Evans been booked. Tackle from behind is going to be checked. Martial was through on goal. And
just not suspended now. Yeah.
So the ball got nicked on the halfway line, got played through. Definite penalty. Like, he was sandwiched between Morgan and Evans. Now maybe I'm being biased because I have Morgan back, but I think Morgan is the one that fouls first. Right. So he should be the one that's getting the booking here, I think. Like, Morgan definitely clips Martial first, and then Evans comes in and takes him well. It's 100% a penalty. Bruno Fernandes should be taking this. The only thing I would say is, does the ref change who the booking was given to? I don't know whether VAR can do that, because it's definitely like the foul. The fouler, I don't even know if it's a word, but the foul's committed by Wes Morgan.
Yeah.
And then I said both of them probably foul him, but in my book it's a Wes Morgan foul. So just waiting on the ref to actually give the decision here, but it's in no doubt. Yeah, he's given it anyway. And he doesn't look to have shelled out any more yellows, unfortunately. And Watford have got another one back against Arsenal. It's 3-2.
3-2 now. I just saw that pop up. It's going to put a little bit of pressure on the other game. So
yeah, Danny Welbeck. So this is a massive goal or a massive penalty for Manchester United now. So Fernandes, just after us saying that he's been off the boil, can he go back on the boil?
Yeah.
Michael. So he's just running up to take it now, and he scores. Great penalty. that's like Josh Michael's a good keeper against penalties. Set him down and put it in the opposite corner. Unbelievable penalty. So now if West Ham can do the business, I'll be a happy man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my bet now is really, really relying on West Ham. That's really all I'm waiting on.
Okay, so I'm gonna change around here and go live at West Ham so I can cheer that on. It's annoying the way, like, Joe, you think on Sky Go you might only be like 10 or 15 seconds behind, but you're a good minute and a half, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is frustrating. So West Ham are actually on the attack here now. They just had a throw in up their end. No. They had a ball kind of about 10 yards out from the byline with a throw in, threw it to Haller, and he dribbled along the touchline back to the halfway line and passed it to one of the defenders. Just like the opposite direction to goal.
Yeah, but you see that a lot with them, really, don't you?
Not what you want from your centre or your central striker.
Yeah. For those of you watching, by the way, we do apologise that the video feed is gone and it looks irretrievable at this stage. So it's audio only at the moment, along with the on-screen graphics of the odds and the matches in play. So apologise for that. You know, these matches are starting to
probably a good thing they can't see our mugs though.
Yeah. No, nobody's complaining. The Burnley Brighton, yeah, a lot of the scorelines now are looking more like what you'd expect. Maybe not the 2 Watford goals, but you know, City up, Arsenal up, Chelsea up, United up, Liverpool up. So yeah, a lot of the accumulators out there might be actually looking pretty good today for the people that pick the obvious kind of candidates. Tottenham now 25 minutes to score there. I think nearly everybody would have had Tottenham in their rackets today. And if you had avoided the kind of banana skins that we'd mentioned earlier, Everton, Burnley, okay, they're losing and they did look decent prices, but at the same time they weren't the first teams you'd be jumping to back this weekend.
Yeah, definitely not. So West Ham are on the attack here again. It's kind of, if I was using Betfair speak, it wouldn't be a dangerous attack, but they have the ball anyway. Yeah.
Although sometimes when you see those, I think it's just basically based on
the position.
The position, yeah. You'd see come up dangerous attack and it's just tap down the wing and then tap back to the centre mid and it just goes from dangerous attack to attack.
Yeah. So Fredericks has it on the right wing now. He's taking on the fullback. It's a good tackle by the fullback.
Yeah, I think I have this big one that I mentioned, Giroud to score, Arsenal, and yes. I mean, Arsenal now are probably back in play. It's a bit dodgy looking. West Ham is really the only one holding that up until I get on to the 3 later games. But that's an 1100 to 1 bet, and the long odds in that are looking pretty good. So really, I think I'm going to actually flick on to West Ham myself. That's the key one for me.
Yeah. So Lanzini has come on for West Ham. They're starting to knock the ball around fairly well. And as we kind of said at halftime, like Villa are now starting to sit back. It's a very good attack. So Lanzini has it just inside the box. Villa just kind of they have like all their men literally in their box. There's no one forward for them. All into the box and Haller just headed over. But like if it stays like this, what's there 20 minutes left? You'd be fairly confident West Ham are getting a chance or two because, as I said, in that instance, all the Villa players were in the Villa 18-yard box. And then there was a cross in from the right wing and Haller still managed to get his head on it. But it's kind of one of those where he was stretching a little bit for it and headed it over. But I said, it'd give you a bit of confidence anyway.
Yeah. Hopefully now. The West Ham games recently seem to have been just like, kind of, we talked about this last night. They're either games where West Ham kind of come out firing and they're, over 3.5, over 4.5 goals, and West Ham win, or else it's kind of just, drift towards a 0-0. Maybe somebody scrapes a 1-0, but in all likelihood it's just a low scoring kind of game. Seem to be kind of black and white or day and night with some of the West Ham games recently.
Yeah.
Arsenal
Sorry, go ahead.
Arsenal making some substitutions here, so maybe Arteta is starting to worry about this comeback from
Brighton had a good chance for Leicester there. So they broke down the right wing. I think it was Damari Gray, and kind of came in, and Lindelof and Brighton kind of both went for the ball, and it dropped on the edge of the 6-yard box. Brighton swiveled on it and shot from 6 yards, but it was a tame enough shot, and De was able to catch it.
Yeah. Torreira has just come on now for Arsenal, so I think they're trying to just shut this game down. He's another player that there's a lot of rumours that he'll be moving on in the summer.
Yeah, it's an odd one, because like when he first went to Arsenal, he made such a big impression, and then he seemed to go out of favouritism with Emery, and kind of want away as well, like, so.
He didn't really seem to settle, did he? Like, there's been a lot of talk. Well, certainly it could be just tabloid talk, but what I've read in the papers about, just life in London, I don't think he's adjusted to it too well. So then I add into that, like you said, he seems to be struggling to keep his place in the team. Like, he's only getting brought on for the last 20 minutes of a game. In the last game of the season, in a where league position doesn't matter for Arsenal, it's hardly, it's hardly going to keep him excited about the next season,
So, just for an update on my 40-1 bet, Klopp in his wisdom has decided to bring Salah on. He brought Salah on for Origi. So that's the 11 grand bet on, because we needed Origi 2 shots on target.
And he only had
He only had one and then was taken off. Plus, now that means that I need a Salah goal and Tarkowski yellow card, whereas before I just needed Tarkowski. So,
right. Which game are you watching live, by the way?
The West Ham versus Villa.
Just on that, so what time do you see on the clock, just to make sure I'm not too far behind?
75:33.
Oh my good God. 71. That's what I'm on. I'll give up on that. I mean, Arsenal are 1.35 here to win this game. It's nearly 5-1, nearly 4-1 for the draw. We looked at them earlier, it was 40-1. It seemed pretty reasonable at 40-1. Or pretty attractive, sorry.
So Villa were just on the attack there. Grealish was attacking well, and then Diop took him down. So I think Grealish is continuing his record of being the most fouled player in the Premier League. Now, he's very good at doing that. Like, it wasn't. I mean, it was a foul, so you can't say that the ref was wrong to give it, but there was definitely an element of Grealish jumping into Diop, like, he kind of.
Oh, that really reminds me of.
Tangled his leg and jumped over it,
That was a Jack Wilshere kind of move as well. He'd always just get himself between the player and the ball, that the player had to foul him. There was no way around it, and then.
Yeah, that's it. It's like buying a foul, like,
Yeah.
And then the free kick was just brought in, but Diop headed out now for a corner, so Villa's starting to get a little bit of bit of pressure going, which isn't good for us waiting on West Ham.
Yeah. So how's that table looking now then with those goals back? Yeah, so Watford will be safe if they win now at this rate. If they score another one, they will leapfrog. Wow, if they score one more, then they'll be tied on points and just 1 goal behind Bournemouth. Bournemouth on 1 goal difference. And both of them then 1 point behind Villa. And Villa be on the same goal difference as Bournemouth.
Yeah, so Watford need two, like.
Yeah. Or they need. Yeah, if Villa concede and Watford score, if Villa just concede, yeah, there'd be still one goal ahead of Watford on goal difference. But they'd be below Bournemouth. Yeah, it's any combination really could happen now. Still.
So will we get a big last 10 or 15 minutes in the Premier League? Tyrone Mings just went down there to try and buy a penalty, but it was never a penalty.
Yeah. Arsenal actually had come quite close there a moment ago. They had a 2-on-1 with the keeper and messed it up. They did the pass from, I missed who the pass was from. Joe Willock, I think, to Aubameyang was just a bit soft and cut the angle out for Aubameyang, and the keeper was kind of comfortable in the end, but that really should have been 4-2.
Bournemouth have gone 3-1 up on Everton.
Okay, so that's the end of those bets. And what's that doing to the table?
She's like, not to be sensationalist about it, but you nearly think, oh, West Ham have a great opportunity here from a free kick now. You'd nearly think that Ancelotti could be in trouble with Everton. I know they more than likely they will give him the summer and a bit of money to spend and try and clear out the fact that he has about 27 number 10s. But like, have they picked up a point since coming back from lockdown? And they've a lot of bad losses.
I'm a big fan of Ancelotti, and
so would I be now.
I think it was a disastrous move from an Everton point of view. That's not what they need, or it's not what they needed. You've got a lot of kind of. They need a kind of a coach type manager, as opposed to like your traditional head coach from afar like Ancelotti. And you look at his time in Napoli, it was a disaster, and how much better Napoli have been since they got rid of Ancelotti at Christmas time. And he hasn't. It was a few results early on with Everton. I think they had they drew with Arsenal, they drew with United, and they drew with Liverpool, I think, and it was it looked like he kind of. I think it might have been just that new manager bounce, as they referred to, and I don't think he's actually really improved them in any way. And with Everton, like I mentioned, it's a coaching issue. What do they sign in the summer to really boost their team? You could look at, I think everyone goes on about the Arsenal defence. If Arsenal signed a centre back, it could make a big difference. United, the people talking about their full backs. Maybe you mentioned a winger earlier on. Frank Lampard has talked about the players that he wants. Like, who do you buy at Everton to make a significant, quick impact to that team? I don't think there is anyone, because it's
sorry, I'm just watching the goal here. Do you know what the first thing they need to buy is a goalkeeper?
I think I'm not.
There's zero chance that Pickford can be England's number one next season. Like that goal is so. Junior Stanislas cuts into the box, has a fair Tame would probably be a bat, that wouldn't do the shot justice, but it wasn't a great shot on goal, and it's just slipped through his hands. But you're Premier League goalkeeper should be saving that. As we speak, in the last 2 minutes, City have got number 3 and 4. So,
and I think Sterling
demolition job.
So Sterling got one of those. So
Sterling and Mahrez.
Yeah. And then
Southampton have scored as well, gone 3-1 up.
Okay. So actually my only live action left now is all dependent on West Ham scoring and Arsenal not conceding. But it's been pretty successful so far considering the prices that I backed. So just let's hold on. A lot of injury time, I believe, in the Arsenal match as well. The Watford keeper was down injured for quite a bit, so a good 3 or 4 minutes. Lecce have actually pulled one back against Bologna for your bet, by the way. So it's 2-2 now.
Yeah, I think that's going to be gone, to be honest. But So my main focus now is on West Ham here. So just over 7 minutes left. Like while we were speaking, I didn't want to interrupt you, but like West Ham won a free kick in an ideal position. They were probably about like a yard or two outside the 18-yard box, fairly central. And I was full sure that Yarmolenko was going to take it because he has like a really, really pacey whipped shot on him.
Yeah.
And like, Jack Grealish has just scored.
Wow. That's the end of that. So
that's the end of that. Yeah. I have to watch. So kind of came from nothing, that goal. There was a free kick for Villa about 35 yards out, but there shouldn't have been any trouble. But the West Ham defending just wasn't great. Like, you can't give Grealish that amount of space, you know.
Yeah.
It's worked in and again, found Grealish. It's Ryan Fredericks. He's just, and the goalkeeper wasn't good either. Fredericks isn't good enough for the Premier League. And then Fabianski be disappointed with his part. I get a small bit of deflection off Fredericks, but
I think that kind of wraps up the relegation discussion as well.
Yeah, like Fabianski should be saving that. From a West Ham perspective, Ryan Fredericks is not good enough to be in the Premier League. So they need to get rid ASAP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think that's kind of with United after scoring, and I mean, even if Watford do manage to get back to 3-3 with Arsenal, although from watching it here, it's very one-sided in Arsenal's favour at the minute. But even if they do pull one back, I think they're still going to be doomed because Villa have taken that lead.
Yeah, there's a suspension in the Chelsea game, I think. No, I don't. There's no way that Wolves can come back from that. It's gone unsuspended now, anyway. Yeah, I think that's everything fairly wrapped up now, to be honest, because like Leicester need 2 goals to take Champions League off United. Oh, hold on, West Ham scored.
Wow.
Sorry, I was looking down and West Ham have scored. So Yarmolenko.
That's back in play.
Inside. Oh, what a! It's a big looping. It's actually it comes off Grealish. It's a big looping.
So now the relegation battle is back
deflection into the back of the net. So yeah, it's one apiece now. So
I'm still in the same position there. So I need Arsenal not to concede, West Ham to get a winner, which is, you know, at least it's just the 1 goal. Whoa, Watford came close to getting a penalty there. Well, there was no foul, but it looked like a foul was going to happen. And then we need Bologna to go back ahead again, so it's not guaranteed, but 2 goals now as opposed to, 2 goals in different games as opposed to 2 goals in the same game. So slight bit of optimism back.
Yeah, but it's still, so I suppose it opens this back up. So the relegation battle is still on. If West Ham score a winner, then Villa are relegated. So,
if West Ham score a winner, then
Bournemouth stay up.
Yeah.
But Moyes has been fairly negative most of the season, and 87 minutes he's taken off Mark Noble and put on Felipe Anderson. So at least he's doing his bit for the Premier League to keep everything fair and square. There's no need to be putting on players in the 88th minute or whatever.
A long-time servant like him, he'd know to, it's something that even if it's just for pride, you do have to take these final games very seriously. It's...
Yeah, those 2 goals there were nonsense goals to be given away, though, because, the deflection is a wicked deflection. There's nothing that Reina can really do about it, although you'd expect Reina to probably get back to it, but he nearly gets it. And then, as I said, the goal that was scored for for Villa, Fabianski should be saving that as well. So.
Mm-hmm. I really think it's all now Arsenal, Watford, and Villa West Ham is the only really kind of live interest we have out there.
So United's gone into the 90th minute anyway.
Especially with the draw doing enough for them, there's no reason for them to, and you can even see that, the Leicester players would know that as well. They're not going to, 2 goals is a huge amount in a couple of minutes. Watford have had some pretty good, we call them half chances, passes in the box that were just an inch away from getting to the man, or very close to being fouled kind of moments. They've put a big fight on. We'd spoke about that early on. They've really put the effort in. So they'll be bitterly disappointed now if this ends the way it is.
City have just gone 5 now, but there's no goal for Sylvie in it yet.
Has he had any shots?
He had a shot on target. But
we just need the one.
But no goal. So
it's irrelevant for me anyway. So
yeah, no, I just would like him to see it, and I thought they'd be doing everything to get him a goal,
Yeah. You had said before the lockdown you were starting to fancy City for the Champions League itself. Do you think he's going to go out with one last hurrah?
I mean, I don't know whether I fancy City for it or not, but I think they've got the best squad in it. And I would like to see them a lot of people have kind of a qualm against City, but I actually have. I think that I like most of their players. Especially like De Bruyne and stuff.
Yeah. Arsenal are giving Watford every chance here. They're still breaking down the pitch and really trying to score a 4th goal, which is just leaving them pretty open at the back. I think they'll. You kind of mentioned the heads went down after that 2nd goal and the poor defending in the first half. And Watford really, this match was here for them. Really looking at it. So if the results elsewhere go the way they could have gone, if Watford win and Villa don't, they've left it behind them this season. They'll be very, very upset with this.
Yeah. Villa are in the corner flag now with the ball.
As in playing for time?
Yeah. So they had the ball. They had a corner and they just played it short. West Ham have got it back now, so they've got a throw. We're down the West Ham end. We're into the 92nd minute, so there's 4 minutes added on. West Ham are struggling to get out. Villa just want to keep it up in the corner, that way. I'm actually surprised West Ham are putting in so much effort. But it's just gone kind of scrappy now,
Yeah.
But it's mad, you see the things in the other leagues, Brentford were favourites in the match last week against Barnsley, and then they needed a win to kind of get automatic promotion, and they are attacking and concede, and then Barnsley managed to stay up. So never say never. These kind of games.
6 minutes added on at the Emirates, by the way. So
I think Villa are going to hold out. There's 2 minutes left, but they're doing fairly well to keep the ball in that corner. So the only thing that can hurt them now is if there's a quick counter by West Ham. They're kind of struggling to get the ball a lot.
It's not something we see often either, really, is it? A quick West Ham counter.
No.
But Palace Tottenham finished in a draw. That's going to kill a lot of bets 1-1, so under 2.5 as well. I had over 2.5 somewhere in one of my bets with them. Liverpool 1-3-1, Southampton won in the end. They were both no real upsets there. Leicester, Man United. You got your Man United win in the end. I think 5-4. I mean, looking at it though, I still think that Leicester were a good price considering how that match panned out. But I think that's as good as over now. I think it might even actually be just over. Everton Bournemouth. I think that's the biggest surprise of the day. Really, nobody saw that one coming. Arsenal Watford. This could still yet end in a draw. There's still 4 more minutes of injury time to be played. And then Chelsea Wolves, that's wrapped up, and Brighton Burnley is, 2-1 there. It's like we said at the start, that was one of the matches that nobody would be surprised by any result in that game.
Yeah, exactly.
So just really, if any Villa can hold on, I think that's going to be wrapped up. But I think Watford might score 1; they won't score 2 here.
So yeah, there's like 4 seconds left in the Villa game for the West Ham. So the ref is just about to blow it up. I said Villa did time waste an awful lot.
I don't mind time wasting. Sorry?
So the whistle's just gone, and all the Villa players were about to celebrate, and they looked across at the manager, and he was just like, not yet, because obviously there's still time left in the Watford game, so obviously they don't want to celebrate.
Watford, Deeney nearly scored 92 and a half minutes in, he came very close to scoring. That could have been 3-3 there. And I think at 3-3 you'd be lumping on Watford to score in the last minute for their survival, But Arsenal are still sending players forward, they're going down the end. So it's a surprise how adventurous, I suppose, in reality, with nothing left to play for Arsenal. They're not going to sit back and hold on to the goal lead. But
yeah, I'm actually looking at it here. Yeah,
Watford chance.
Oh. Yeah.
What's your clock, by the way? 93-12.
94. This is actually a different one. So 94-37. Welbeck had a good chance at the back post there as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's bad because I'm watching the West Ham game now on the iPad here, and you can see the players are just all stressed out after the match, waiting for this one to end.
And remember the famous Aguero City winning the league, and the United players were starting to celebrate when they'd won their match.
Yeah.
I actually think it might have been Gary Neville started telling people to calm down. I don't know if that might be incorrect now. I just have a memory of his kind of head being there, the one telling people, no, the other match is still going. And then as the goals went in, they were like shell. I just saw the Welbeck chance. Whoa, that was close. But the shell shock look on him, it's mad that, how close some of the leagues can finish up like this,
But I'm right in saying Watford need 2. Yeah?
Yeah.
So it is all. Oh, yeah, sorry. So I was watching. Oh, United have gone 2-0 up.
I thought that match ended.
Jesse Lingard.
Oh, the Arsenal match
sending off for Leicester, which I assume was Johnny Evans. Yeah, Johnny Evans was sent off.
But that was kind of like we're saying now about Watford needing 2. As soon as United had scored, especially scoring late, that's the end of it,
Yeah, it was a mistake by Kasper Schmeichel. He had the ball at his feet, and Lingard took the ball off him and rolled it into the empty net.
Looking at Torreira here, he's quite effective at breaking up play and winning the ball back and stuff like that. It would be a shame, certainly as an Arsenal fan, if he was to move on in the summer and not really stay and fight for his place, because as much as Jack is greatly improved under Arteta, you need 2 players really for most positions, especially that defensive midfielder role where it takes a lot of energy,
Yeah, exactly. So I think all the games are over now. So West Ham or the Villa players are celebrating their United have got it. So
Yeah. That was it then. A successful enough day really for the bets, but we didn't actually win any of them. We had a lot of good calls, but nothing came right in the right combinations.
Unlucky. And if you Everton let us down big time for that 11 grand bet, we would have had a good shout out of it. I actually think so. We ended up being 4 legs away, but we were Norigi shot on target, David Silva shot on target, and then we needed West Ham and Everton. So I mean, it's obviously a lot, but for such a what's that 20,000 to 1 bet, or 2,000 to 1 bet, it wasn't that bad. So I said we did say at the start it was a novelty bet, but yeah, and a couple of others. So the halftime double that we called. Obviously, United got the business done. West Ham couldn't get over the line. But there was a decent shout on that. I actually cashed out of one of those bets at 1-1, so didn't lose too much there.
I think, though, for anyone watching, they'll see that that seems to be the style of bets that we do. It's kind of well researched, or at least well thought through. Long odds bets. Last week we came within seconds of an €1,800 win. Today we're getting relatively close to some thousands to 1 odds bet. So it's kind of the style here. Obviously, you could pick a lot of Liverpool, City to win type bets, and your returns over time might not be great, even though you might get a lot of kind of green W's in your bet fair. But I think I'm pretty happy with how the bets have gone the last couple of weeks of the league so far.
Yeah, no, we just need to get a couple of winners over the line.
Champions League will be a big one for us when that's back.
They'll come League of Ireland this Friday night, so make sure to tune in for that. We'll be using my new League of Ireland stream to stream the game. So try and tune into that. Cool. I think we'll end it there. So.
Yeah, thanks everybody for joining in, and we'll be in touch. We'll be having our live podcast during the week discussing the bets for that day and the following day. So keep an eye on the channel. Make sure to subscribe there, and you'll see us when we do go live with the daily bets for you. So thanks for tuning in.
Yep. Cheers, guys.